Hi, my name is Lauren Colburn and this is my audiovisual submission for Educational Psychology and Pedagogical Practices, Assessment 3, Reflective Statement. Teaching ethically. A reflective statement outlining my understanding of and commitment to becoming an ethical and effective early childhood teacher. Before I take you all on my journey of discovering what makes an early childhood teacher both ethical and effective, let's get a clearer understanding of what the key components of the task really are. And that is, what is a teacher, what are ethics, and what is effective. So according to the Cambridge Dictionary, we can see that a teacher is a person who instructs or trains others. Ethics is the study of what is morally right and wrong, or a set of beliefs about what is morally right or wrong. And effective is successful or achieving the results that you want. Looking deeper at our own pedagogical practices and our own beliefs of education, how does this definition of a teacher sit with you? That is, a teacher is a person that instructs or trains. A more honest and authentic definition of my beliefs comes from the text Educational Psychology, which states, teaching is the interpersonal effort to help learners acquire new information in an attempt to extend their individual and collective knowledge, practice, and or develop their skills and realise their potential. And I think that's the big point here, is that we want children to realise their potential, and that is our goal and our aim. So what's going to make an ethical teacher? According to Lynch, there are 6 things that coincide with ethical teaching, and that is knowledge, empathy, reasoning, appreciation for moral considerations, courage, and interpersonal skills. Looking a bit deeper at that, we see that having knowledge of an individual, of individual students, their needs and their aspirations, and their personal situations. This allows us to ethically assess many situations that arise and to act accordingly. Empathy. A teacher who has empathy sees the views of others, and it allows us to view situations, outcomes from all perspectives, not just our own. Reasoning allows us to logically analyse and assess situations and outcomes. And appreciation for moral considerations. This allows teachers to identify and analyse conflicting moral dilemmas and arrive at an ethically correct outcome. Situations may arise where 2 different parties see things very, very differently. And if we have appreciation for others' moral considerations, we can link those 2 together and come to a more understanding solution for everybody involved. Courage. For me, this is the big one, and this is what ethics is all about, is having courage. Doing what is right is not always easy. The ethical teacher possesses the courage to always do what is right by the children, parents, colleagues, and their community. And that can be hard because you're not always doing what's right by everyone, but you need to have the courage to do what is right. And interpersonal skills, which is our ability to communicate and relate to others. And this plays a major role in teaching and educating in an ethical manner. The early childhood, the ECA Code of Ethics. This is a biggie. For me, the heart and soul of teaching ethically is embedded within all places here within our Code of Ethics. And it states, which is a direct quote here, that we maintain the rights and dignity of children, families, colleagues, and communities. And I think if we can keep that in mind, that our role is to maintain the rights and the dignity of others, then we're well on our way to teaching ethically. I think that's the core of it. So what makes an effective teacher? And what is effective teaching? High expectations of both themselves and their students. You can't expect high things from them if you're not putting the work in yourself. You must be effective. You must have high expectations of yourself in order to get high expectations out of the children. Recognizing and embracing individuality. Understanding that every child is different, unique, and that is a great thing. Understanding and utilizing a range of different pedagogical practices, including the ability to put theory into practice, as well as having a sound understanding and a broad range of teaching strategies and techniques. So I don't think it's good enough to just know the theory. You need to know how to then implement that theory. If you don't know how to implement that theory, you cannot teach effectively. You need to have the ability to communicate using a range of different communication techniques. We know that children learn in a range of different ways, and if we can't communicate in different ways to meet their needs, again, we are not teaching effectively. We need to have the ability to maintain positive, nurturing relationships with peers, children, families, and communities. It's all well and good to have those relationships to start with, but if we do not maintain them, they are worthless. We need teacher efficacy. We need to believe in ourselves and we need to strive to continue to do better. The ability to motivate, encourage, and empower. Empower is the big thing here for me. We need to empower children to want to learn. Once they learn, they become active and involved participants in our society, and that's exactly what we're trying to do. We need to reflect upon our practices. We need to be critical of ourselves and see where we're going wrong and what things we can improve on. None of us are perfect, and if we can reflect critically upon our own practices, we can make things better. We need to maintain current knowledge and understanding of the industry and its content. Again, to stay effective, to be effective teachers, we need to understand current knowledge, current education, stay current in what we know. Everything changes. Throughout my course of the last 13 years in this industry, things have changed so much. For me to teach effectively to these children, I need to stay on top of all of the current knowledge and understanding that our industry has to offer. Children have a right. So the children's right to ethical and effective teachers. It is their right. The United Nations Conventions on the Rights of the Child state that children have the right to an education. That education should develop each child's personality and talents to the full. And that children have the right to learn. If we are not being ethical or effective in what we do, we are not meeting the children's rights. We cannot teach them to their full potential if we are not ethical and effective. Furthermore, the Melbourne Declaration on Educational Goals for Young Australians is a commitment to children and a commitment that we have made to create and nurture successful learners through quality, supportive and knowledgeable teachers. Again, how can we be supportive, knowledgeable and quality teachers and educators if we're not working effectively and we're not teaching ethically? The community has a right to ethical and effective teachers. Again, the Melbourne Declaration on Educational Goals for Young Australians states in Goal 2 that all young Australians become successful learners, confident and creative individuals, and active and informed citizens. Outcome 2 of the Early Years Learning Framework asks educators to guide children to become connected with as well as contribute to their world. So through play, pedagogical practices and effective teacher interactions, children are able to build and explore leadership abilities, creating a foundation for future leadership abilities. So we have a right to the community to be effective and ethical in what we do in order to pass these skills on for future generations. So my commitment to becoming an ethical teacher. I will take accountability for my decisions and my actions. I will listen to and take action regarding children's needs, wants and desires. I will acknowledge and overcome any personal biases I may hold, and I will advocate for the needs of all children. My commitment to becoming an effective teacher. I will have a sound understanding of teaching standards. I will understand pedagogy and teaching techniques. I will develop my early childhood developmental theories. I will have a sound understanding of milestones, and I'll strive to know each child individually and structure my curriculum and my teaching strategies accordingly. So that was my reflective statement on ethical and effective teaching. Thank you.